This is when heading up in North Texas. Looks like it was going to be a very cloudy night as storms were rolling in from West Texas, but wouldn't be here for a few hours. Got to my first property and started to stalk across the property. Noticed fresh rooting as I went along. There was only a few hundred yards into the stalk when I came across daylight hogs. Now the wind's blowing from left to right. And it is daylight at this point. I can see the hogs, and if they look closely, they could see me too, but they're preoccupied. Here I'm partially hidden behind some brush. I'm hoping all the hogs are going to come together. The ones in front are actually rooting through an old hay pile, as is the one in the back. But they're pretty active and they're not staying together, so I'm going to shoot this first one. I try to pick up a runner, but lead him just a little too much. And he's off into the woods, and because of the cattle, I can't shoot him to the woods. As I top the hill, here are the rest of the cattle. So it's probably good I didn't do any more follow-up shots. So here's my boar down in the hay.
Brass Catcher by Tactical Brass Recovery.
He came in at 95 pounds and was the first hog of the night. The shot entered here on the shoulder, crossed over, and then exited out on the opposite side just behind the head, going through the cervical vertebrae, leaving a large hole. Moved on to my next property, and here I'm actually following a skunk that you can barely see in the haze. As I followed the skunk around the pasture, I came across these coyotes, Carpicanus. Coyotes are much more of a problem. This is the trailing coyote. Now he looks awfully dark. He's not very fuzzy like normal coyotes, so maybe he's missing his fur. Here we go. As I stay on him, I notice his head starting to move. The second shot finishes him off. And sure enough, he was a mangy coyote, and the reason why he showed up so well on thermal under these conditions is because he was missing a lot of his hair. Later on, I came across a group of hogs on another property. Looks like a nice sounder. They're actually feeding in some winter wheat. The wind is in my favor at this point. I just need to make my approach. This is a property where I've been several times, and the problem here is that there's a ridge line behind them where the land falls away behind that point. So my shot opportunities on the hogs are going to be limited to the hogs in the foreground. I continue to move up, and the hogs are not taking notice of me. And here I moved up for the last time. Quick survey of the hogs. I'm going to take this sow at 105 yards. Cattle are off to the left, and I try a follow-up on a runner. Looks to be a little bit low. And the hogs are disappearing over the ridge that I talked about. There goes the last one. The sow came in right at 200 pounds, was pregnant. The shot entered there on the right shoulder where you see the dot. The bullet stopped under the skin on the opposite side. I found it with the metal detector. Did a quick removal of the bullet. There you can see the permanent wound cavity inside. The Spear TNT bullet impacted about 2,466 feet per second. Penetrated right about 10 inches after entering the right shoulder, breaking one rib, clipping the spine, going through the lungs, exiting the left rear shoulder area, breaking two ribs. In the process, coming to rest in the fat underneath the skin where I recovered the 3 fragments. And as I noted, the sow was pregnant. She had at least 6 of these little embryos. They are less than 28 days old. As the storms moved closer to my hunting area, I started to see more and more lightning, and so I went ahead and called it a night. Carpe sus, my friends.